Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Meditation and Spiritual Practice. Um, Sherry's background of flowers is definitely feeling like spring is in the air in beautiful Southern California here. Um, this week's parsha really, I think, holds a certain key to living life with intention, with presence, with awareness. And specifically, it's really about, it opens up with talking about the building of the Mishkan, of the sanctuary, the portable sanctuary in the temple. But before it kind of launches into that process, it talks about observing Shabbat. Specifically, it says, this is what God has commanded you to do. And then it talks about Shabbat. And then it says, this is what God has commanded you to say. And then it talks about the work of building the Mishkan. And kind of there's two elements to this teaching, kind of foundations that's important that we lay before we move in a little deeper, which is that the first one is that the work of building the Mishkan is really what the rabbis defined as creative work. So this whole idea that in 6 days you will work, in this case in the Torah right here, we're talking about building the Mishkan, the sanctuary. And then on the 7th day, you'll rest, you'll stop from working on Shabbat, and you'll sanctify it and make it holy. The actual work that is being talked about is really, the rabbis broke down into 39 categories of work that all were really about the creation of the temple. So it's everything from dyeing the skins that were needed for the walls, or whether it was lighting a fire so that certain things could be built or cooked, or whether it was writing things on that, or whether it was tying knots that were more of a permanent kind of thing. All of these aspects of is what the rabbis defined as the work that we don't do on Shabbat. It's the work that was used to make the Mishkan. And so somebody who is Shomer Shabbat, or Shabbat observant religiously, and is following the way to do that, says that on Shabbat, there are things that I will not do because they fall into those 39 categories that are defined as the work that was used to make the Mishkan. So we might not really think about lighting a match or lighting a fire as being work. I mean, we didn't really have to exert any energy. We just lit it, or tearing open a box of cereal, or any of those kinds of things. But for one who is Shabbat observant, that fits into a category of creative work. And what's important about that is this is where Shabbat goes beyond being just a time of rest. Because if it was just about resting from work and exertion and stress, then we would really only define work as those things that create that work and that exertion and that stress. But instead, Shabbat is looked at as a certain kind of awareness, a perception, and abstaining from creativity. What does it mean to stop and be able to really be fully present and receive the moment, whatever it is? That is what was kind of essential in this experience of Shabbat observance. And really what is really defined as work, right? A lot of us, go to jobs and do work in the world, and we may not consider that sacred work. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we consider it sacred work. But maybe we don't. Maybe it's very mundane. Maybe it's, cleaning houses, or it's being an accountant and crunching numbers for other people, or whatever it is. The idea about this work is we're invited to see the work that we do during the week as being about creating holy space, creating the Mishkan, no matter what we're doing. It doesn't matter if we're not, a rabbi ministering to a congregation. Everything we do has the potential to be a building of Mishkan, to be a building of sacred space. And it all has to do with the intention that we bring to it. So that's one foundational idea. The second one is this idea that some of us are familiar with. We've explored it on our meditation retreat before, but the Kabbalistic map of the four worlds. And the idea, just without going deeply into this map at all, but the idea is that in every moment, there are many dimensions of reality that we are inhabiting at once. And where our attention is determines what world we are inhabiting, right? So we are in an infinite number of worlds, an infinite number of dimensions of reality at once, because that's what life, that's what God is. It's an infinite creative expression, which we are a part of. And yet where we put our attention on what dimension of reality determines what world we're in. So much of us we go ahead and we exist mostly in the world of Asiya. The world of Asiya is the world of physicality. It's noticing and interacting with life in the externals of things, the transactions, the interactions. It's goal-oriented, it's achieving, it's also creative. But at the same time that we are existing on that world of Asiya, there is another dimension which has to do with intention, right? It has to do with what are we really present to in reality when we're doing whatever it is that we're doing? And is it possible to be able to see a deeper pattern in creation, in our lives, that connects us? So that when we're interacting with a checker at Trader Joe's, they're not just performing a function for us, but we see their holiness. We see their godly dimension in them, that they are an aspect, that they are not only a body, but a soul, and that actually that essence of who they are that comes through their eyes is actually part of the same essence that is at our core. That is that divine reality. And yet, so then the interaction with the checker at Trader Joe's is not just about my buying my groceries, but it's also about being able to affirm that connection. And there's nothing in particular that we have to do to affirm that connection. It might be a kind word, or it might be a laugh, or it might be something else, but it's really about what's the intention. How is it that we look at the people around us? What's the intention that we bring to that moment? And so Rabbi Levi Yitzhak of Berdichev says that the reason why Shabbat in this parsha is, this commandment to observe Shabbat is right up against the creation of the Mishkan, is to say that in Shabbat we don't do that creative work. We don't operate on that level of creation, on the level of asiya, of physicality, of bringing actual physical things into being. But on Shabbat, we still create. We still create, but we create through intention, through words, through, and that's where we bring those practices of meditation, of prayer, of Torah study, because it's all about what we're creating, what we're opening to, what we're expressing is that deeper intention that underlies everything we do. But we do that not just to have an experience of that deeper reality, of that world of Bria, let's say, in the four worlds model, not only, or Atzilut, not only do we do it for that deeper experience, but we do it so that we're more in touch with that dimension of reality when we move into the week, when we are interacting in that creative way, that they are connected. They are connected. So let's take some time to really practice. And as we talk about Shabbat, we're also not talking about just Friday to Saturday night. That's our Jewish communal practice of tapping into, as a whole Jewish community across the world, how we tap into this deeper space of intention and awareness. But that any time we open and we move ourselves into a receptive mode, we are tapping into that experience of Shabbat. So go ahead and find a comfortable place that you can sit without moving around too much. And we'll start with a melody and then move into the meditation. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Ya-hi-da-hi-da. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Ay-ay-ay. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Ay-ay-ay. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Ay-ay-ay. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-yada-da-da. Yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada, da, 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 da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada, da, da, yada, da, da. Ay, ay, ay. Yada, da, da, yada, da. Allow yourself to settle into your body, feeling the pressure of your bottom on the chair, the contact of your feet on the floor, the length of your legs as it comes out of your feet, bending at your knees and all the way to your hips. And then staying present with your legs and your feet and your bottom. Also become aware of the distance from the bottom of your spine to the top of your head. Notice the way your arms hang out of your shoulder sockets and the resting place of your hand. Feel the air as it touches your face, being present to all the sensation of your body in space. Noticing where the inhale enters the nostrils or the mouth, the way the body expands to make room for the inhale. And then notice that place where the inhale switches over to an exhale, following the air out of the body until it reaches its maximum length and draws back in for another cycle of breath. So, really making a choice at the beginning of each inhale to be fully present with that journey of the inhale and the exhale as it moves in and out of your body, and all the way the entire body is affected by that inhale and exhale. So you're present to that movement of breath, and you're present to the shape of your body and the sensations from the top of your head to the tip of your toes that go along with that movement of breath. And notice the power of your choice to be present for one cycle of breath. That we make that choice over and over again of where we direct our attention. And now let's let our attention move a little bit deeper into our moment to moment experience of breath and body. Begin to notice the vibrancy, the vibration of the body and the breath. It might be, you might notice that vibration through feeling a tingling or a buzzing that's around your skin. It may be through kind of tuning into your inner organs and noticing the aliveness of your belly, your stomach. Maybe even noticing the circulation of the blood in your veins, which might be experienced as a warmth that courses throughout your body. Just tune your attention into the energy that's present in the body. and around the body. The sounds that you hear are energy vibrations, sound waves that vibrate your eardrum and register in the mind. And as you stay present with each breath and with the body sensations that go along with it, and the dimension of energy that's present in every moment, begin to notice your own attention, your own experience of watching, of noticing, of being with that breath and the body. There's even energy that's present in your own awareness. That sense of wakefulness that is always noticing, that is always present. Even when we're asleep, there is a presence in us that watches all of it. Allow your attention to rest in this sense of presence, of being with. And the more that we allow our attention to rest in that experience of watching, of witnessing, of being, it becomes less important about what we are experiencing or noticing. The breath, the body, the sensations that come and go, the pictures in the mind, all of it, all of that is filled with energy, aliveness, presence, and is also changes, arises and passes. But the watcher, the being with, is eternal. It does not change. But it's something that we participate in that is beyond us. And if you notice that your attention is present on breath and body, then allow yourself to rest into that awareness, that watching. And if your mind drifts and you find yourself in a little bit of a dream world or a different thought, just allow yourself to expand your awareness to make sure to include the breath and the body. and then rest back into that experience of presence, of watching. I'll be quiet for a period of time. Ai, 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 yada da da yada da. 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 Thank you, everybody. The floor is open. If there's anybody who would like to share, I'll go ahead and stop this recording here.